the other thing is like, now I'm going to bring up the cart ruts, right? So Turkey has cart ruts like Malta. Okay. And then I don't know if have you ever looked into this topic at all?
I have. Yep,
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, what is cutting ruts in stone?
Right.
Right.
They're called cart ruts.
Right.
But it's like, this ain't
Is it a cart?
cart rut.
You're right. Or
How is a cart?
Where were they filtering glacier water down all these little ruts?
Yeah. Well,
they run into the ocean.
that's the problem. Is like
right.
if you look at some of the
That was a joke.
I'm taking it seriously.
Okay.
Just to mess with you.
Right.
There's a place called Clapham Junction in Malta, which is named after one of the biggest railroad track switching stations in the UK, I think, is what it's named after. And it's because when you look down at it, it looks like an enormous number of tracks that are going all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There we
Okay.
go.
So there's some Maltese, and you can see they're deep,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, those are deeper than I thought.
Yeah. Wait, where is this? Misra Al Gabir.
Clapham
Clapham
Junction.
Junction. Okay, yeah. So you see that, like, what kind of cart is making this? Look how deep this is. We found a couple of sets of these in Austin.
This is Turkey, right?
Malta.
No, this is Malta.
Malta.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
Malta. Yeah. You found them where? I'm sorry, Russ.
Outside of Austin, in Texas.
Really?
There are cart ruts. Yeah, a couple of sets that are very clear. We went and found them, and like they're on riverbeds, and just like long curving. It looks exactly the same as what you would expect if somebody with a two-wheeled narrow tired vehicle went through some mud. It looks just like it, except it's in stone. So there's sets of this stuff in Turkey as well.
So what's the traditional explanation for how they were made? The cart ruts. I mean, it's just a mystery, right? They fall off into the ocean, and so the theory might be that they were made when the ocean was lower. So you're talking sea level was 400 years lower.
There's the Turkey ones. This is what we want to go see in the Phrygian Valley.
Yeah. And that's not into dirt, right? That's into stone.
Yeah, that's stone.
Yeah, that's not like somebody just peeled out in their ATV or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But notice the car tracks next to them.
Yeah, there's
where
a
people
road
have been
next to
driving modern vehicles and not making ruts in the stone.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I'm fascinated by this cart rut thing, and that I guess there's a couple of possibilities. The standard explanation is for the ones in Malta. I don't know about the ones in Turkey, but the ones in Malta, they're like, okay, they were using single axle, two-wheeled carts pulled by a single animal, and they went over the same track so many times in the same area that the wheels were just steadily digging down into the stone. I don't buy it.
I don't buy that either.
Yeah. I just can't. I can't buy it.
Seems crazy.
Driving this off into the ocean then? Because
Right,
that's
yeah.
the thing.
Right.
Graham showed it in Ancient
Yeah,
Apocalypse,
they
right?
cross
in
the
Malta,
bay.
They literally, they go under, they cross the bay.
Yeah.
They go underwater.
Go up on other islands that come out of the water. It's
Where's Malta?
Some of them go directly off cliffs.
Is Malta near like Greece or something, or where's Malta?
It's off
it's-
the coast
it's-
of Italy.
Yeah.
Italy,
the
right,
Mediterranean.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to get out there.
There's a lot of interesting stuff in Malta, Hypogeum,
Right. So there's a
tons of
lot
megalithic stuff.
of megalithic construction in Malta that looks similar to Göbekli Tepe stuff. I wouldn't say there's T-pillars, but there's lots of circular megalithic temples built out of roughly hewn stone.
Pull up Malta on Google Maps if you could, Ryan.
And there's,
if you imagine the sea level 400 feet lower and Malta...
It would have been much larger.
Well,
Yeah.
Africa would have connected to Italy, basically. It looks like you could have walked from Africa to Sicily and then to Italy at that point in time.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
like...
know. Yeah.
But the oldest structures on Malta are supposed to be 5,000 BC
Something like
ish.
that. Yeah.
So no one was supposed to have been there when the sea level was,
Right.
no one was supposed to have been there at Göbekli Tepe times.
Right.
Yeah.
But I am fascinated by the cart ruts and the fact that you find them here in Turkey associated with Daring QU. I don't know if they're associated with tepes. It's kind of far from the tepes, right? But there could be some out there that no one has located yet.
And what's the wildest explanation theory as
That
to...
somebody was driving mechanical vehicles through mud
What's the next
before it
wildest?
turned into stone.
What's the second wildest explanation?
the second wildest. I don't know.
Or what's one that makes sense
I think
to you?
the wildest one is that the tracks were made before the material had turned into stone. All of this is sedimentary material.
Okay.
So at some point it was not rock. So you can imagine it's laid down under shallow seas, okay, or it's near a beach, and then the water recedes or whatever. People make tracks with vehicles. The water comes back, it gets buried again under other stuff. That eventually turns into stone. Then the whole area dries out, and then erosion slowly wears material down and then exposes the tracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's wild because that puts them like millions of years ago.
Yeah,
but then you have somebody driving vehicles millions of years ago in mud.
They're the same way you get dinosaur footprints in stone.
So it's like the Mars rover from somebody else. That we
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because they usually come in groups. There's never just one set. You know, you find an area and it's got lots of tracks. Wow. Like lots of people were driving vehicles through the mud in that area at one point, and they just got preserved for whatever reason.
Are the tracks always evenly spaced apart?
Yeah.
Don't know.
So they're not necessarily.
I mean, I can't say always, but every set that I've seen that I know of, they're
it's 2 tracks.
Yeah, the tracks don't. It's never a single track.
Yeah.
They don't get closer and farther away from each other.
Right.
Yeah. They're not always the tracks. The individual tracks are not always the same width. Like those are wide. Mm-hmm. Some of them are very narrow, like a couple of inches, which is interesting because if you think of a cartwheel, and they were usually pretty tall, like a wheel like this, right? And if you have to put that wheel in a track that's this deep in stone, and then it goes around any kind of turn, it's going to catch and break. It won't be able to go around the turn. So the track should widen around the turn, but they don't.
Yeah. So an explanation could be that this was some probe that was sent 1 million years ago by some alien civilization. And they were just driving around.
Absolutely,
a lunar
could
rover.
be.
Yeah.
Right? It could be a rover. Yeah.
It's an Earth rover.
That's freaking crazy.
Another thing that's interesting. Now look at this. See how this set that he's showing. This is good. The one on the right. You see how there's like a slight. You can kind of see there's a bit of a deviation. Like there's a little bit of a lip on the one on the left and on the one on the right. So it's almost like 2 sets of tracks overlaid with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Like there's a dip in the wall there.
Yeah. So one of the questions I've had is, we have 4-wheeled vehicles, and the front tires are the ones that turn.
Was it turning?
Yeah. How is it making the turn? So if it's the turn you see with our cars, when a car turns, that the tires separate from each other. The tracks do. And then they come back together once you're going straight again. So sometimes it looks like it was a 4-wheeled vehicle that's making a slight turn there, and so the tires are slightly separating, Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
Dude.
It's wild.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love cart ruts.
Yeah. I love them too now.
Everyone should love cart ruts.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, look at this set. So this is a good
this-
one on the upper right. How do you get that if it's simple carts always going down the same sets of tracks? How do you cut them like this where they're the same? There's got basically a flat bottom, and then they separate from each other. I don't know. I just can't quite buy it.
This would have been soft sediment millions of years ago.
At some point,
It would, and then it's just
Sedimentary layer, yeah.
This is another, like you're asking for wild explanations. A second wild explanation is that sometimes there can be events that harden this material very quickly.
Okay.
So maybe it isn't as old. Maybe it was soft mud a lot more recent than is
like an airburst
normally
or
accepted.
something, or like something like
who knows? Yeah, like an airburst just cooks it.
Solar event.
Yeah,
right.
some kind of solar
Right,
event.
right, yeah. Huh. That's crazy, man.
It does. Just looking at that reminds me of the Hun and Pacha stuff you see in Peru as well. Like just the shapes in bedrock, this crazy stuff that's in like the living rock of the mountain. I'd be surprised if there aren't some sort of things like that in parts of Peru.
Yeah. Yeah, look how clean and deep some of these are. And look, see how this is a double set on the left here.
Oh, there's a giant footprint right there.
Yeah. Now we know.
Yeah, now we got to figure it out.
Now we got to figure it out. It was giants.
All right. Yeah, we can stop talking about this. We got this.
But yeah, look how deep this one is on the right.
Yep.
But
that's just a single, or does that line up with that?
I think
other
there's
thing?
another. I think there's another one.
Wow.
I've never seen one that's not 2 tracks.
Dude, that's weird. That's weird.
And there's data. Look at that. Okay. That's cool.
But it is interesting. Like, could these have been made, and then the material is hardened quickly? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, have you ever driven on a a dirt road that goes through an area where you could tell there was a bunch of water there at one point, but now it's dried up. But there's a deep set of ruts, and they're rock hard.
Sure.
You know, if you don't get your vehicle out of there, it'll pull them in. It'll pull you in, right? And then you're stuck in that rut. You know. Now you can imagine if now you've got this rock hard, like very hardened clayish mud material that's preserved these tracks, and then if there's a flood that comes in with a bunch of material and drops it in them, and it drops like 6 or 7 feet of material in them, then that stuff dries out and hardens. That those tracks are preserved and could potentially be preserved for a long time. That's how the white sands footprints have been preserved.
Right.
And they're not even rock. It's not rock. It's just hard packed material.
Right.
But the footprints are still there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I like this too. This is I think this is Pompeii.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it's worn down in the stone, the cobblestones.
Or
it's...
that was mud.
Yeah, or it was mud. Yeah.
Because that's Pompeii.
Right, and it was...
It could have been baked into... it looks like... see how they look like desiccation cracks?
The pyroclastic flow kind of deal. Yeah.
The stones look like... So you can imagine, if that was just mud... Now, notice the blocks going across the road up there at the top of the picture.
I suspect that's...
Those are stepping stones.
Yeah.
So you have stepping stones over mud... Right? You've got tracks in mud, and then very hot pyroclastic material comes down and bakes the mud and leaves the tracks in there. Now that, I'm sure no one will agree with me on that, but I think it's a possibility.
Everybody else would say those were worn down over time by driving through it?
Yeah, driving through it.
Wow.
Which is possible.
That's a long time to drive through it.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't it?
Well, this is in a city too. Like this is constant flow. I mean, these cart ruts are out in the middle of nowhere most of the time on their own.
And that's it. You'll notice that the ruts are in this. Yeah, see how they're on this road. Yeah.
All right. Blow our minds with something else. How do you top cart ruts? Where do we go from there?
Where do we go from cart ruts?
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, don't stay in this rut, man. We gotta
stay in this rut. Get out of the rut.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done, Matt. You get one mind explosion per episode.
Okay, that's fair. I've had a handful this episode, so that's perfect. That's cool, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be asking people about cart ruts now.
Yeah, good. I love the cart rut subject.
Yeah, that's cool.